Now that USC has finally named its running backs coach, what are your concerns for spring camp?
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Right on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your team every day, your first listen. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube or wherever you want to download your podcast, this show is always free, and never forget how much I appreciate your support. This episode is brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go to your next big adventure. Check them out all today at nissanusa.com. If you're an everyday listener, and if you're not, you should be, you probably heard me on yesterday's episode of Locked on USC. Look, I've been hinting, I've been telling you that Anthony Jones Jr. was going to be USC's next running back coach. Well, everything's good to go now. We can move forward. It's official. Anthony Jones is the first coach on the offensive side of the ball that Lincoln Riley has had to replace since he took over the job as USC's head coach. And the USC released a statement once they made the news official. Anthony Jones Jr., most recently serving as the running backs coach at TCU, has been named USC running backs coach / run game coordinator, according to head coach Lincoln Riley. Coach Riley added his own statement. Anthony Jones Jr. is a talented coach that will certainly contribute to our climb as a program. We welcome the Jones family to USC and look forward to having them as Trojans. So there you have it. Anthony Jones Jr., the running backs coach from TCU, formerly is now USC's current running backs coach and run game coordinator. We know USC had a poor season last year, 8-5. TCU, they were even worse. And let's not forget, the year before, TCU was in the national championship game playing against Georgia. In 2023, though, they went 5-7. So although they weren't good from a one-win-loss perspective, where they were good was on the offensive side of the ball. They were also really good at running the ball. TCU, they were number 11 in the nation in total offense, 466 yards. And they also had a running back who is going to get drafted this year. His name is Imani Bailey. He ran for 1,200 yards on his own. And they were number 14 in the country. He was number 14 in the country, averaging just a tick under 101 yards per game. Now, how did Anthony Jones Jr. find his way from Texas Christian University to USC? Well, easy. Everybody knows everybody in the coaching industry. But when your former offensive coordinator is Garrett Riley, younger brother to Lincoln Riley, you have an in. You know somebody who knows somebody. Wink, wink. So that's how I think this whole thing came about. So now you have the coaching staff is complete, right? Lincoln Riley did a defensive overhaul during the offseason. He kept Sean Nua. Pretty much everybody else, gone. Offensive side, first coach he had to replace since he took over. So now their coaching staff is complete. We think. I hope. Especially since spring camp is 2 weeks away? For whatever the reason, Coach Riley has made it clear he likes Texas running backs. And Coach Jones, he's going to be familiar with USC's roster. He recruited the guys that are there now. This year's freshman, Brian Jackson. Last year's two freshmen, Quentin Joyner and Marion Peterson. If you hang out over there on WeUSC.com, you might have caught the comment from Scott Schrader. Quentin Joyner, really happy about this. Okay? We haven't had a chance to get feedback from the players because we haven't been able to talk to the players yet. So we have ways of getting some feedback. There's one running back we know for sure is going to be really happy. And then again, we'll see if he'll be able to have the same effect with the USC running backs that he's had in the past. What we do know is that I think the learning curve, well, I'm assuming the learning curve from having, since he knows these running backs, having to recruit them, that learning curve has been lessened. Shouldn't take as long to know everybody's personalities, those tendencies, those types of things. So now as we get closer to the start of camp, what are the concerns that stand out the most? We understand defense is a given. We'll talk about that on another show. Talk about it frequently. We'll talk about it more. But let's what are your concerns on the offensive side of the ball? It's kind of weird saying this, but there's just as much intrigue, at least in my opinion, on Lincoln Riley's side of the ball, on the offensive side, as there is on the defensive side. First and foremost, Miller Moss has a skeleton crew of wide receivers to work with. And even though Deuce Robinson, who's playing baseball right now, and Zachariah Branch, who's going to be running track, they're splitting their time between those two sports. Coach Riley said that he doesn't think they're going to miss too much of spring camp. Still, anytime they're missing, that's less time that Miller has to develop. And not just Miller, the other quarterbacks, Jaden Mayapa, Jake Jensen, to create that chemistry with the wide receiver group. Don't forget, the numbers are low. You know, you're only bringing in 2 guys in the spring. You have true freshman Xavier Jordan. You have grad transfer from Tufts Division III University, Jaden Richardson. Now, Jaden's got a lot of receptions in his bag, but again, that's what you're bringing back. That's what you're bringing in to complement. You've got Kyron Hudson, you've got Deuce Robinson, Zachariah Branch, Mekhi Lemon, Jacoby Lane, and then I just mentioned Jaden Richardson and Xavier Jordan. That's not a lot of wide receivers. And for a Lincoln Riley type of offense, that's not enough. So I'm not concerned about the talent level. The names I just rattled off, it's a lot of talent. What I'm concerned about is the depth level. We'll see how much time Zachariah and Deuce miss while they're running track and playing baseball, respectively. They'll be playing the spring game, hopefully. But again, it's not a lot of wide receivers. What are we counting here? 1, including Xavier Jordan and Jaden Richardson. That's 1, 2. Kyron Hudson, 3. Deuce, 4. Zachariah, 5. Mekhi, 6. Jacoby, 7. And again, Zachariah and Deuce not going to be around all spring. Bottom line, we can fight about this if you want. Coach Riley needs to bring in at least 2 more receivers when that April transfer portal window opens. The offensive line, it has the pieces. Coach Josh Henson, offensive coordinator, offensive line coach. He needs to figure out that puzzle quickly. I told you what my first line O-line would look like. Elijah Page, left tackle. Emmanuel Prignon, left guard. Jonah Monheim at center. Alani Noah, right guard. Mason Murphy, right tackle. Get that part figured out. And that way Miller Time can kind of figure out the rest. It's a bizarre world for me when you have a Lincoln Riley team that has speculative depth issues at the skill positions. Okay, the offensive line, it's deep, but it's young, it's inexperienced. 10 guys they brought in through the high school recruiting ranks in the last 2 classes combined. But again, Dorian Singer bailed. Michael Jackson III bailed. Mario Williams bailed. Rayleigh Brown. They all took off via the transfer portal. Those are Lincoln Riley guys. That makes my eyebrow go, can't do The Rock, but eyebrow raise. Is that curious? Just only to me? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, Brendan Rice was heading to the NFL. I think everyone knew that. Taj Washington, everyone anticipated that happening. So why did each of those guys leave when there's, so much playing time available, so much opportunity? I mean, are they running from the 4 freshman wide receivers that came in last season in the last recruiting cycle? They're good. But I don't know. That's just odd to me. So how much carryover should we anticipate from spring to fall camp? Will there be any? So again, here's my question, as you can see on the rundown. There's no more questions left with the coaching staff. So what are your concerns? What are you more concerned about on the opposite side of the ball this spring? Is it going to be with the running game or is it going to be with the passing game? Well, everyone is relatively new. Moss isn't, at least on that side of the ball, everyone's relatively new. At the skill positions, you got Miller Moss. He's not new. He's been around, but his starting experience is new. Question: what kind of offense is Lincoln Riley going to have in 2024? Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now, new customers, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. And you can bet on all your favorite NBA teams and players. And at FanDuel, they've got this thing called quick bets you can jump in on. They've got live same game parlays. They've got exclusive prop bets at FanDuel that nobody else has. And they've got even more than that. So just visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and shoot your shot. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. Also, just take a minute here. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, become a subscriber. Quick, it's easy, it's free. Click that subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up button. And don't forget to hit that notification so you don't miss an episode. All that will help the show continue to grow. Thank you so very much. All right, second segment. Here we go. Who is my class of 2024 favorite recruit of the week? You're going to like this one. His name is Kalolo Ta'aga. It's either Kalolo Ta'aga or Ta'aga. I apologize. I want to make sure I'm getting them both in there. I will find out which one it is. However, we're going to call him Lolo. He's 6'7", 270 pounds, and he plays basketball too. Well, that's where he got his start before he decided to become an offensive tackle and play college football. He's raw. He's an athlete, but he projects really, really, really well at that offensive tackle spot. When you see him in his uniform, pads on, he looks like an offensive tackle. And he's got really long arms. It kind of, you might drag his knuckles. Long arms. Long ass arms. I can't say it any plainer than that. When USC got involved with his recruitment, he was already committed to San Jose State. Yeah, one of those guys. USC finding the 3-star diamond in the rough. But his stock was actually rising. And he'd only been playing football for 1 year. You're going to love this dude's story. It's really cool. Lolo went from being a San Jose State Spartan commit to literally choosing which former Pac-12 team to commit to. He had offers from Cal, Arizona, Utah, even Florida from the SEC got involved. He took his visit to USC in December. He committed quickly thereafter, like a week after that. It might not even take him that long. And all of a sudden, you had the Archbishop Reardon High School alum. He's already enrolled at USC. That's how quickly it moved for this young man. In the summer of 2023, he's a San Jose State Spartan. By December, he's a USC Trojan. In January, he's enrolled. Now, here's what you need to know. Reardon High School up north, Palo Alto, California, they're not known for their football. They've got a nice athletic department, mostly basketball, but academics are really their pride and joy up there. Lolo, he self-reports 3.5 GPA, smart young man. And again, he's another guy who that Coach Henson is trying to stack at that offensive tackle spot. He's one of 5 offensive linemen that came in the 2024 class. 2023 did 5 as well, so there's your 10. But he's someone who you need to develop, and you should probably look to see him on the field in 2 to 3 years. You're not going to see him this year. He might surprise me. He might surprise everybody. I doubt he's going to see the field this year. He's still learning to play the game of football. But when you watch him on film, go check out how fluid this guy moves. It's like, whoa, 6'7", 270 pounds, kind of moves like an ice skater. A little hyperbole there, but very fluid for a guy his size. So, excuse me, it's not going to take you long to see why he started to get offers, why they started to pick up once he started to play football. Legend has it that Lolo was invited by the football coach. Just come out to spring camp. It happened in his junior year. Come check it out. See if you like it. Apparently he liked it because it paid off instantly. Within 2 weeks of him being at spring camp, his junior year, he had offers from Utah State and a Division II school, Minot State. A week after that, San Jose State called. And then after he played 2 games in the fall, his first 2 organized football games, Ta'aga had played in his entire life. He had then gotten offers from Arizona, Cal, and Florida. USC was late to the party. You know me. I love to kind of peel back the layers, pull back the curtain, see who we're getting. Who are these people when they're not playing football? I found a really good story. It's from Bay Area Preps. And this is what his head coach, I believe it's pronounced Adair Ravapati. What he's done in picking up football so late and the work he's put in to get to this point has been incredible. He's a special kid and talent. It's rare for a kid who's never played football and can do the work and deal with failure to learn and grow and end up where he's at in a few months later. Wow. That statement right there, when I was coaching, and that's how I kind of like to live my life as well. You don't learn by doing things right. You learn by making mistakes. That's exactly what his head coach just said. And he accepted the mistakes and he learned from them. This is what Lolo said. The only football experience I had was playing Madden video games and watching games on Sunday with my family. I was a fan of skilled players and hadn't paid much attention to the line. I was really into Marshawn Lynch, end quote. Now, personally, I got to say something. I would love to see a 6'7", 270-pound running back at USC who runs angry, because that's how you would describe Marshawn Lynch. When he ran the ball, he ran angry. You did not want to tackle him. Lolo continued. When I started working, my passion grew for the game. In basketball, you have to manage being physical. Football, you get to take it all out. We're Polynesians. It runs in our blood to play football. Now, in that story, Lolo mentioned that he's proud of both his Samoan and Tongan heritage. So yeah, full on. In his final year playing high school football, is really his only year, the offensive line that he played on, it was an all Polynesian line, including some family members. He has an uncle, his name is John Tofi, who played basketball at Reardon, and he was really good. He's considered royalty. Their words, not mine. However, he had a son, Tommy Tofi, who played left guard, and he also had a son who played wide receiver, John Tofi Jr. You know who else was on that roster? 2025 offensive line prospect, modern day transfer, Peter Lange. So, yeah, modern day transfer, played up there last year with with Lolo. So maybe that gives USC a little bit of an end. Now, his basketball coach, remember, his first love, basketball. Joey Curtin, this is what he had to say about Lolo. There are certain qualities and traits that translate from basketball to football, and he had them. That's why we all encouraged him to get out there. His footwork is great, and he uses his hands fairly well for being so new to the game. So, as far as what type of person Lolo is, well, his head football coach, he's an awesome kid. Everyone on campus loves him. He's a great student and a very hard worker. With his character and mindset, the sky is the limit for him. This is what his cousin said, Tommy Tofi. He's just a quick learner. I'm just proud of the man he's become, and I can't wait for his future. He's a fun dude. It's a fun dude to hang out with. A great cousin and a great brother. So there you go. That's Lolo. I think in a year or two is when you're going to see him on the field. But remember the name right now, because this guy could be a player. 6'7", 270 pounds, still learning the game. But there you go. That's this week's favorite recruit of the week. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things to the edge? Ever wonder if there's a new adventure around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is the perfect car for city drives and great escapes. They have the class-exclusive Google built-in, which is your always updating assistant that you call for almost anything. And gone are the days connecting to your phone. Google Assistant, Google Maps, and the Google Play Store are all built right into the 12.3-inch high-definition touchscreen infotainment system. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is the perfect mid-size crossover for your next adventure. Need something a little bit bigger? The 2024 Nissan Pathfinder. It's got room for up to 8 folks. It has an expansive cargo capacity, and advanced 4x4 capability is also available. It's equipped with 284 horsepower, and you can tow up to 6,000 pounds. Yeah, that's a lot of pounds. It's 3 tons. Take the Nissan Rogue, the Nissan Pathfinder, or the Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop nissanusa.com. All right. The big conference where USC is going to be playing. Yeah, they're no longer Pac-12 teams. They are no longer a member of the Pac-12 conference as far as football is concerned. I take that back. They will play one more game as a member of the Pac-12 conference. Their spring game. It's going to be on the Pac-12 network, by the way. That's why you need to get out to the Coliseum, because you won't be able to watch it on TV. Anyway, the big conference. they released their 2024 Media Days schedule. That's right, days, multiple. It's going to take place July 23rd through the 25th. It's a Tuesday through a Thursday. And this is great. Someone at the big conference headquarters, they have one of those evil sense of humors, the kind that I have. And I'm really good with it because, like I said, I love evil humor. Type that just, I don't know. I laugh at some really funny stuff. Maybe you might not think it's funny. I think it's funny. Anyways, I love comedy that just pushes the envelope, offends everybody, spares no quarter, no holds barred. I come from this. This is my mindset. Jokes are funny because there's some truth that's embedded in there, right? That's why it's funny. Anyways, somebody in the Big Ten Conference headquarters has a really great sense of humor. USC and Iowa, they're going to be in the same room on the same day. And to me, that's hysterical. I love smack talk. I mean, fans chirping it up, being passionate about their team. Good, clean, wholesome college stuff, though, right? I've been known to throw some verbal punches in my history. Been around. Not my first rodeo. It's not Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz's first rodeo either. He pulled no punches. He'd like to talk some junk. He did so back in December. Remember, he took that jab at Lincoln Riley? Some of you might remember a former UCLA head coach, Rick Neuheisel. He once said, punting is winning. Coach Ferentz lives by that motto. And he wanted to make sure everyone knew that Coach Riley's offense may be electric, but winning is still all that matters. This happened back in December 2023. He didn't want the media to forget that his Iowa Hawkeyes did much more winning in 2023 than Lincoln Riley's 2023 Trojans. Remember, they won 10 games. I think there's a guy that entered the conference recently that came with widely acclaimed offensive stats and all that. Look, again, Coach Ferentz, he doesn't want anyone to forget that. So despite his punting is winning strategy, Iowa won 10 games and played in the Big Ten championship. USC won 8 games, didn't play in the Pac-12 championship. I can guarantee you, no one will forget what he said when the big conference media days take place in Indianapolis. You want to know why? Again, this is what Coach Ferentz told the press back in December 2023. I think there's a guy that entered the conference recently that came with widely acclaimed offensive stats and all that. That's usually how those guys become well known because of whatever they're doing, throwing it, running it, wishbone. But then you look at it a little deeper. So what's this guy's wins per game? There's a school on the West Coast right now that's going to recommit to defense. They gave up 42 points to Tulane last year in a bowl game at a place where Ronnie Lott played. So now they're going to think about defense, question mark, end quote. Like I said, if nobody else reminds Coach Ferentz about this, you can bet your butt I'm going to do it. I'll be subtle. I won't use his exact quotes. But my question, because again, I don't want him to feel threatened or feel attacked, get defensive, sit there like this, arms crossed. Here's how I'm going to pose my question. Coach, I know you have a defensive-minded approach to things, but how would you characterize that Pete Carroll team that beat Iowa in the Orange Bowl way back when? And how far away do you think this USC team is from reaching that type of level of play? Dramatic pause. Look, I have no idea if there's any truth to the rumor that Kirk Ferentz is going to introduce Lincoln Riley to the dais. That would be funny. I mean, imagine that. They have to do a handshake as their paths cross. Oh, I so hope that's how it happens. So here you go. This is how it's going to shake out in July. Big Ten Media Days on day one. Illinois, Northwestern, Ohio State, Purdue, Rutgers, Wisconsin. I don't know. Is it just me? To me, that's kind of a boring day. Outside of the Buckeyes and I don't know, maybe the necessary question about Alex Grinch for Wisconsin. Who cares about that day, right? Do you? USC fans, do you care about any of those teams not named Ohio State or what Wisconsin has to say about Alex Grinch? How about day two, USC Day? Iowa, Michigan State, Nebraska, Penn State, UCLA, and USC. I already talked about Lincoln Riley and the Kirk Ferentz feud sparring match that could possibly happen. It's not going to happen. I hope so. I would love to have some fireworks. But USC plays Nebraska and Penn State and UCLA from this group of death. Got to remember, Pac-12, they used to do all 12 teams in one day for their media day. I call it the group of death because you're getting 6 teams. It's kind of like a, I don't know, World Cup type of thing. And then final day of the Big Ten Media Days, you've got Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Oregon, and Washington. Michigan, Washington, they're going to be introducing their new head coaches. Well, Michigan's former interim head coach, Sharon Moore, is now their new head coach. Do me a favor, Oregon, do your best not to embarrass yourselves, please. So I'm trying to decide if I want to go for all 3 days or for, a couple of days. Like I said, I'm all about the newness. I'm looking forward to this. 18 teams, man, that's a lot of information overload. I don't know if I would make it through it. So there you go. Not Pac-12. Got to practice this. Big conference media days set for July 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Wow. It's going to be here before you know it. Spring camp's going to be here before you know it. I'm going to have another episode for you before you know it. That's what we do here at Locked on USC, 5 times a week. I hope you're enjoying the content. It's the off season. It's the downtime. I'm trying to give you as much as I can. So I appreciate your support. Keep coming back, and I'll keep bringing the USC news and notes for you. So until that next episode, everyone, you know what to do.